Welcome to Games to Screen, the series where we ask one big question. Should video games be adapted into movies or TV shows? Or should they stay exactly where they are as games? Video games are no longer just games. They've become one of the most powerful storytelling mediums in the world, with sprawling worlds, unforgettable characters, and narratives that rival the biggest Hollywood blockbusters. And it's no surprise that Hollywood has finally started to notice. In recent years, we've seen a massive shift in how Hollywood views gaming. Adaptations that once felt like cheap cash grabs are now some of the most exciting stories on screen. The Last of Us, the Super Mario Bros. Movie, the Minecraft movie, Fallout, even Five Nights at Freddy's and Sonic. They've shown that games can work in both film and television when the right care is put into them. Even recently, there have been more major announcements that more video games will be making their way to Hollywood, including Call of Duty, Assassin's Creed, and Helldivers. But the real question is, does every game need to make that leap? Some stories are best told with a controller in hand, where choices matter and immersion drives the experience. Others, though, feel almost destined for the big screen or a prestige TV adaptation. In this episode, we're looking at 4 games that fans often imagine in live action, including Red Dead Redemption, Mafia, Infamous, and Telltale's The Walking Dead. Each of these games already feels cinematic, but could this new format truly bring them to life? For each, we'll explore its history, its story, and ultimately ask, would this game work better as a TV show or a movie, or should it stay as a game forever? Rockstar Games released Red Dead Redemption in 2010, building on the framework of Red Dead Revolver from 2004. It wasn't just a Western, it redefined what video games could achieve narratively. Critics hailed it as one of the best games of all time, and its sequel, Red Dead Redemption 2, became an instant classic in 2018 with more than 77 million copies sold. The first game follows John Marston, a reformed outlaw forced by government agents to hunt down his former gang members. It's a deeply personal tale of redemption, family, and survival against the backdrop of a dying frontier. The prequel, Red Dead Redemption 2, shifts focus to Arthur Morgan and the Vanderlyn gang, exploring themes of loyalty, greed, and the slow collapse of the outlaw way of life. The world of Red Dead Redemption is already cinematic. Sweeping landscapes, morally complex characters, and emotional storytelling. It practically begs for adaptation. But here's the challenge. Could this sprawling story work as a movie, or does it demand a full TV series? John Marston's story has a tight, self-contained arc of a feature film, while Arthur Morgan's slow-burn character study feels built for television. A series could explore Dutch's gang, their relationships, and the slow unraveling of the world in far greater depth. The real question is whether Red Dead even needs to be adapted at all. The games already deliver a level of immersion and emotional impact that rivals film and television. An adaptation would have to do more than just retell the story. It would need to reinterpret it, giving fans new layers to explore. If handled with the same care as The Last of Us, it could become a prestige Western drama unlike anything we've ever seen before.
Yeah, boss. We took care of it.
The Mafia franchise began in 2002, developed by Illusion Softworks. It was a love letter to classic mob films, but with the interactive weight of video games. Its story-driven approach set it apart, and in 2020 the original game received a full remake as Mafia Definitive Edition. Sequels followed, Mafia 2 in 2010, exploring post-World War II America. Mafia 3 in 2016, set in turbulent civil rights era. Mafia the Old Country, based before the events of the original game in Sicily, Italy. The game tells the story of Tommy Angelo, a cab driver who stumbles in the world of organized crime in the 1930s, drawn into the Salieri family. Tommy rises through the ranks, but learns the brutal truth of loyalty, betrayal, and the cost of power. Each sequel continues this tradition, focusing on different eras of American crime, making the franchise less about one character and more about the shifting legacy of the mob across time. Mafia might be one of the most adaptable game series ever created. Its structure already mirrors Hollywood's favorite crime dramas. A film trilogy could easily follow each installment, much like the Godfather saga. Alternatively, a television series could expand on rivalries, politics, and the side stories within each era, offering a Boardwalk Empire-style deep dive into the world of organized crime. But here's the catch. Mob stories are already a crowded game. The Sopranos, Goodfellas, The Irishman. Audiences know the formula. What Mafia brings to the table is historical context. Few crime dramas explore the Great Depression, post-war America, or the racial tensions of the 1960s in such detail. That unique angle could help make it stand out, making Mafia not just another mob story, but a time-spanning crime epic. Done right, Mafia could stand tall alongside the great mob stories.
I'm a goddamn criminal mastermind.
Sucker Punch released Infamous in 2009 as a PlayStation exclusive, known for Sly Cooper and later Ghost of Tsushima. The studio crafted one of the first original open-world superhero experiences. The game was followed by Infamous 2 in 2011, the standalone Festival of Blood, and Infamous Second Son in 2014, which introduced new characters and powers. The series centers on superpowered individuals called conduits. In the first game, Cole McGrath survives an explosion that devastates Empire City, awakening electricity-based powers. The player chooses whether Cole uses these abilities for good or evil, shaping his path and the fate of the city. Later, Second Son introduced Delzin Rowe, who could absorb powers from other conduits, expanding the universe even farther. At first glance, Infamous looks perfect for adaptation. It's gritty, superhero-driven, and built on moral choice. Exactly the kind of fresh take Hollywood is searching for. But here's the challenge. The morality system is the heart of the experience. Players shape Cole into either a savior or a tyrant. On screen, these choices would be locked in, potentially stripping away the uniqueness that made the game special. Still, a TV adaptation could make this work by leaning into episodic storytelling. Each episode could explore the consequences of different choices, slowly revealing how power changes Cole and those around him. It would feel less like another Marvel clone and more like The Boys or Heroes, a grounded, darker exploration of what it means to be superhuman in a city that doesn't trust you. Done right, Infamous could cut through superhero fatigue with something raw, emotional, and morally complex.
Hello? Anybody?
In 2012, Telltale Games released The Walking Dead, a narrative game based on Robert Kirkman's comic series. At the time, AMC's Walking Dead was already dominating TV, but Telltale's stood apart. It wasn't about mowing down zombies, it was about choices, morality, and survival in a collapsing world. The game was a breakout success, winning Game of the Year awards and spanning multiple seasons. The first season follows Lee Everett, a man with a criminal past who finds redemption in protecting Clementine, a young girl alone in the apocalypse. Their bond becomes the emotional anchor of the series. Across 4 seasons, Clementine grows into a hardened survivor, carrying the legacy of Lee's lessons as she navigates loss, hope, and the endless fight to survive. On one hand, the Walking Dead universe already exists. With countless seasons and spin-offs, do we really need another? Maybe, if it's focused solely on Lee and Clementine, and personally I would not be against seeing another Walking Dead show starting from the start of the outbreak. Lee and Clementine's story is intimate and personal in a way that Rick Grimes' Saga isn't. A limited series would give their journey the spotlight it deserves, separate from the broader franchise. A film trilogy could also work, condensing Clementine's growth into distinct chapters. But the risk is the same with Infamous: player choice. In the game, every decision feels personal, shaping how we view Lee and Clementine. On screen, those choices would be predetermined, potentially diluting the impact. Even so, the bond between Lee and Clementine is so powerful, so universally human, that it could still resonate deeply as a live-action story, provided it stands apart from the existing Walking Dead series. So what's the verdict? Red Dead Redemption would shine as a prestige TV series, but the games are already so cinematic that an adaptation might feel unnecessary. Mafia could thrive as either a film trilogy or a crime series, provided it leans into its unique historical settings. Infamous has the potential to be a gritty superhero TV show, though it risks losing the player-driven choice that defined it. And Telltale's The Walking Dead could succeed as a limited series or trilogy focusing on the powerful bond between Lee and Clementine. But remember, not every game needs Hollywood. Sometimes the best stories are the ones we experience ourselves, controller in hand. Still, it's fascinating to imagine how these worlds could be reimagined for the screen. That's it for this episode of Games to Screen. Which of these games do you think deserves an adaptation, and which should be left untouched? Let me know in the comments. And stay tuned for the next episode, where we'll dive into another set of iconic games and ask the same big question: should they make the leap from console to Hollywood? If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.
Whoa, whoa. Here I come. Oh, here I come. Oh.